This is David Ash. David was the quarterback at Belton. He's in school. He's in the off-season program. David was on a team that had one of the better offenses in the state. He's a very accurate quarterback, and you can see in this video he's can make plays with his feet. He also has the ability to be an outstanding college punter. But with Benny Wiley coming in and really being aggressive in the off-season program, the four young ones that have come in will obviously have an advantage when they get here in June. We think all of these guys have a chance to play next year with the new rules like they are. The four that are in the spring have a better chance because they'll have 15 days of spring practice. But when the guys come in June, it gives them a better chance to play in the fall. Joe Bergeron is a young man that from North Mesquite that can play fullback, tailback, or H-back. He's got very good speed. Joe committed very early, and he hung in there with us throughout the process again. He's strong. He's a young man that hasn't gotten the publicity that he's deserved in our estimation. Played in a very, very difficult league, and he had really good numbers for a tailback. I think he's about 228 pounds now, around 6 foot. But we're excited about Joe. He and David both have been guys that wanted to come to Texas their entire lives, so they never thought about other schools. Malcolm Brown made Parade All-American. He led his team to the state championship this year. He was the most valuable player. Malcolm's probably 215 pounds. Malcolm was raised in a military family. His dad still works on the base. Dad's a deacon in the church. All these guys are 3.0 and above, just about. I think there may be 2 of them that are just below it. But Malcolm had a tremendous year. And if you want any of these to be run back, I can run them back. I'm not going to waste your time unless you want to see it again. I've seen them. Just about every one of them. Josh Cochran. Josh is a 4-point student. He's about 6'5", 270 from Hallsville, where Rod McElroy played. His brother's a coach on the staff. Was playing basketball, decided not to this year because he wanted to get stronger and dedicate himself in football. We feel like Josh will be an offensive tackle. Another young man that grew up just loving the University of Texas. Quandre Diggs is in school. He's done a tremendous job. He was a quarterback at Angleton and led them to the playoffs. I think he had an impact on holding this class together because he's such a leader, and he'd email and call the guys and talk to them. And every time I'd hear from somebody, they'd say, Quandre said this. He is Quentin Jammer's brother. Grew up watching Texas. I think if you go back 14 years, most of these guys are 17, maybe a few of them 18 years old. They were 3, 4 years old when we got here. So Quandre's whole life, he grew up watching the University of Texas. He will play corner for us, and he'll be a punt and kickoff returner. And he wants to be a defensive player. But he had a real impact on their team, obviously. He's strong in camp. He played corner last summer for us and did a great job with his back pedal, so Quentin's worked with him. Taylor Doyle, Taylor's won a state championship all 4 years at Lake Travis. Broke his leg last year at the end of the year, came back this year and had a great year. Dominated as an offensive lineman. Very smart. Grew up again, his mom's a Texas graduate. He grew up as a Texas fan. The guys at Lake Travis have done an amazing job. We feel like he is athletic enough, Randy, that he could play all 5. This is Steve Edmond from Dangerfield. Trying to run it back, and then we'll go back. So there we go. Steve Edmond from Dangerfield. Steve's about 6'4", 240. Made parade All-American. He's won the state championship the last 3 years at Dangerfield. And he was the most valuable player in the state championship game this year.
You think he stays at linebacker?
Yes. Yeah, he's got great instincts. It's amazing how well he moves for that size. Big, strong, fast. Barry Bowman's done such a great job at Dangerfield. He just took the job at Paris. Moved. Yeah, he's pretty good. And you can imagine at 6'4", 240 now with his speed and quickness. He is all over the field. Sherrod Evans at Dulles is one of the fastest young men in the country. He will run track while he's here. He will play corner for us. He's played some wide receivers, some quarterback like this in the shotgun, tailback. But he'll be a corner for us. Could be a kick returner, but has national track speed. Again, just one visit. Been a life's dream to come to Texas, and all the defensive backs loved Dwayne Aquina, and when we were able to hire Jerry Gray, they were equally as excited because their parents knew about Jerry for sure, and to be able to be coached by a 14-year NFL coaching coordinator is really good. This is Cedric Flowers. The North Shore guys, we've got Trey Hopkins that started last year. Barrett Matthews has started. And now you got Cedric Flowers, all 3 on offense. They could possibly be lining up together. Cedric's tough, outstanding student, like Trey was from the offensive line at North Shore with David Amon. Cedric's the most flexible offensive lineman I've ever seen. He can do the splits. It's unbelievable how flexible this kid is. Stand and put his palms on the ground. He and Trey do not say a lot, they just block.
Is he someone that can play up and down the line?
Yes, yes. He's about 6'3", 280. Garrett will only be a tackle. Garrett's 6'7", he's probably 310 now. As you watch him, Garrett loves the University of Texas. He was as excited this morning as anybody I've ever recruited to be here. Said he wants to be a police officer. But he loves to play. Hurt his knee just after mid-season, but it looks like his knee will be fine for next year. He is big, good-looking sucker. And he can move to be 6'7", 310, whatever it is. He looks like Mason Walters when he walks in the room. Marcus Hutchins is from DeSoto. Marcus is about 260. He'll probably play inside. He'll play guard or center. He's very athletic. He can really run. I hope there's some shots in here where you see him running. Our video staff pulls these up. We don't see them till today, really. Our staff will take these to, I think they had to cancel Fort Worth and Dallas tomorrow because of the ice, but some coaches will go to Houston, some coaches will stay here, and some coaches will go to San Antonio to show this same video. Desmond Jackson was a powerful force as a defensive tackle. He's not very tall, but he's really hard to block, can really run, explosive. He made some great plays in the Under Armour All-American game. The guys that are shorter in the middle are so hard to block that are this quick. We think he can make an impact inside. Most of these guys were recruited by everybody. But Desmond can really run. His nickname's Tank, if that helps you. Maurice McFarland, he wants to be called MJ. Played wide receiver. He's up to about 247 pounds now. He's here. He's in school. He took his team into the playoffs. But he'll move inside for us. We've had great success by taking the wide receivers and them gaining weight, getting stronger, and being better blockers and having an impact down the field. Guys usually give them a tough time downstairs, and I have to threaten every year to bring their highlight films out. As they're watching them, that shuts them up pretty quickly. Chet Moss from Cedar Park, they only lost one game. Chet will play linebacker for us. He's played linebacker and fullback.
Did he play inside and outside?
Yes. He played more inside at Cedar Park. And you've got to remember there's been an adjustment with some of our coaches because they didn't see these kids. I mean, the other coaches had already committed them. Like I said, most of last year, these guys were committed before summer, just about all of them except Malcolm, I think. Miles Anyebule played quarterback. He's a wide receiver. He's about 6'3 and a half, 220. His brother started as a defensive end at Kansas against us 2 years ago. Put the best athlete on their team at quarterback. And he did a great job for him. But he could. Right now he wants to be a receiver, so I think it depends. Some guys gain weight after they get here and some do not. But if he gets to be 250, he most likely moves inside. And he could. You can see here he's got a lot of athletic ability. For a young man that's not a quarterback to just jump in there and play it it's hard to do. And they scored a lot of points. Boise. Boise. You all aren't going to be asking me for trick plays anymore. You're going to see them. Cedric Reed. Cedric's about 255 now, 6'4", is an outstanding basketball player from Cleveland. He's really, really athletic. We need pass rushers at that position. When we've been really good on defense, we can rush the passer. And usually your outside guys are the ones that beat the tackles and make an impact, or at least make them keep a back in and chip the ends. We didn't have constant pressure on the passer this year, so we think Cedric is a guy that can do those things. Quincy Russell, another basketball player from San Antonio, Sam Houston. They went to the playoffs. You can see Quincy can really run for a 290-pound guy. Got great feet. Here's one of the plays. You can see his ability to run down the line and make a play. With all the spread offenses, your defensive linemen have to run better than in the past. They got to be able to cover screens, quicks, flare passes. The game has changed, but they've still got to be big enough to take on the power running teams. Quincy's big and athletic. Strong play right there. Jackson Shipley with all the comparisons to Jordan. Jackson he's made his own name for himself. He'll play in the All-Star game tonight. He's got tremendous hands. He may be even a little taller than Jordan. Got the same speed. Watch this run. It's an amazing run. He wants to wear Jordan's number. Of course, our guys jumped on him for not scoring. I mean, that's what happened downstairs. So I said you guys would have been tackled on the first shot. He's got great hands, not good hands. He came to camp, and when he came, it was amazing with his ability that he would dive and try to catch every ball, and we had to worry about him hurting himself without pads. But I think we'll all enjoy watching Jackson like we did Jordan. He's also a kick returner, punt and kickoff. Leroy Scott's from Houston, Sam Houston. He's a defensive back, will be a safety for us, played tailback and safety, some for them. Another guy that has dreamed of coming to Texas his whole life. Their program had been struggling, and they went to the playoffs this year for the first time. His coach, C.L. Whittington, played defensive back with the Oilers, and he was very well aware, of course, of Jerry. Defensive backs are harder to grade in the video because a lot of times you don't see them. They come in and out of the video because sometimes it doesn't have them in the back. This is Kendall Thompson. He has been on a state championship team 3 straight years at Carthage as well, and he was the most valuable player of the state championship game. He can play all 3 linebacker spots, and he can play end. Very smart, very versatile. Offensive linemen are also very, very difficult to evaluate because they're usually blocking such smaller guys than they'll block after they get here. Kendall can run and he'll hit you. They've had amazing runs at Dangerfield, Lake Travis, and Carthage. This is McKill Thompson. They've nicknamed him Kill. He will play safety for us most likely, could play corner, but he had an amazing year at quarterback. Led their teams to the playoffs, and was a surprise. A lot of people didn't know about him, and we found him this spring, and we're really excited about him. He was 16, so I think he just turned 17 years old. Also a military family. We were talking about looking at him at quarterback the other day, and Jerry Gray started recruiting hard. Great student, very well respected in his school. But he made a lot of yards and gave their team a chance. Really fast. Has not been a kick returner, but looks like he could be. Josh Turner from Millwood in Oklahoma. They have a great football team, a great track team, and a great basketball team. They could win the state in both track and basketball. He's a 3.9 student, wants to be a doctor. There's a lot of conversation about whether Josh would hang with us with the changes, and he, again, never wavered. He wanted to come to Texas. He is in the All-Star game tonight as well. And equally, he loved Dwayne, but when Jerry came on, he was all excited about having a professional coach him. We're needing corners, so we're going to look at him at corner first.